Hello everyone, today we are gonna learn geometry section. Our purpose of the lecture today is actually let me talk about first in geometry section. Uh, as I told you, the first thing to do is arrange the analysis type 3D or 2D. This is the most important point. First, let's make an example with 3D, later we will make 2D. Workbench has two CAD modules in it. One of them is SpaceClaim and the other one is DesignModeler. Firstly, let's click New SpaceClaim Geometry. Now let me talk about what was our purpose of the lecture today. I'm not going to teach you how to design in this module, of course. Also, I have no deep knowledge about that. We have already some design softwares to create geometry when we can import from them, but there is something that we should know, like create symmetry parameters or how to design basically in this module. In addition to, we need to just look at it. You know, uh, right now SpaceClaim is trying to open. Just wait for it. And okay, it's opened. And the first thing we should do in SpaceClaim, go File here and SpaceClaim Options. And the first thing we should arrange unit systems. So we will arrange which unit systems we'll work with. Alright, since my computer works slowly, I can have got some problems like passing tabs. Okay, on left you will see units. Length is millimeters, or you can change it what you want to work with. Let's pick as millimeters. Later I want to show you that there is an option about minor grease spacing which arranged 1 millimeter. You can change it as you wish. And let's work with millimeters. And also there is primary section arranged too. And that means for example 2.567. Now with these settings the SpaceClaim will show it 3.57, but it's just showing. It will arrange 3.567 as well. So we will type here a number that how many numbers we want to see after the comma. Let's click OK and exit here. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. Let's click new sketch plane here. We need to change our plane right now. As you can see, let's pick X plane. There's an option plane view to see our plane in front of us. This is look like other CAD softwares. Line, rectangular, circle, radius, something like that. And if you used other CAD softwares, it will be easier for you because it's almost same. Look, when I go center, please look left edge, and snapping to grid is written. When I go there, please realize changing snapping to curve center and grid. That means I am exactly on the center. Left click, as you see, grid spacing is 1 millimeter as we arranged. For example, I can just type the dimensions here. Just type 20 millimeter and press enter. It will go to other dimensions and keep it 10 millimeter and press enter. So we have very basic geometry now. To exit, press escape. Now let's return it to 3D mode. Here, a surface is created as you can see. We can extrude it with this arrow. As you can see, just hold left click and drag your mouse. After that, there is pull command that is we used. We can change the normal view with select command. So as we talked there are some tabs here you can examine. I prefer it. Let's go design tab, and after structure section, it will say our geometry is solid and it's our first design. For example, let's delete this one and uh, for example, so it was in DesignModeler, but I have a feature that I like. Let me click line, but before press escape and click new sketch plane and pick explain and plane view. Alright. For example, from here, let me click line and let's draw this one. Let's say 1 meter. Think about this line is the center of I beam section. Go to prepare section. We can choose profiles from profile library. For example, rectangular tubes and circular tube or eye profile. Let's define eye profile. So we picked eye profile. It will be shown here a bit later. As you see, there is beam, but we need to see its properties. Let's right click. Oh, sorry, this one is defined beams. We need to go under beam profiles and right click and edit beam profile. Okay, now you see default settings, and if I want to change it, go left and for example W1. You can see here where W1 is. You can click the dimensions on the rule dimension and change it. It will not change it now. Sorry, I will not change it now. Let's click design to go our first screen, and now we defined our geometry as I-beam. It was so easy, right? And I want you to examine the other options and learn deeply if you want. You can find many videos in YouTube about that. We will make some examples, of course. I will use SpaceClaim and also DesignModeler, so we will get used to it. For complex geometry, I will give you the data. And right now, let's close SpaceClaim now. And you can also save your files from file. Okay, you can save from here. Okay, we talk about briefly, let's close it. Now on Workbench, let's open a new static structural template. And for this time, let's open DesignModeler. Okay, we are waiting for opening it. Okay, I think it's opened. And in DesignModeler, we can control our units from here. Let's change our units from meter to millimeter. There's a ruler here. From here, we can choose our plane that we will work with. For example, XY plane, click New Sketch from here. We can right click on Sketch 1 and pick Look At, or from here, there is the same option. Now we are seeing XY plane. Let's rotate a bit and go back. You can click here. Now in create section there are some ready shapes, for example a box. Just click it and a box appears here, and look its details. Diagonal definitions, as you can see here, 30 millimeter. Let's change it from 30 millimeter to 50 millimeter. You can see differences here. After change it, look, there is a lightening here. That means it needs to be updated. Let's generate it, and our box is ready now. By the way, to rotate, I'm hold pushing the mid roller of the mouse and just drag it. Now let's delete the box. Let's look at our sketch on XY plane. We will draw something because DesignModeler has a little different sketching. First, we need to go sketching sections. From here. You can see comments now. If you want to go down, you need to click this arrow. First, we need, for example, let's pick line comment, go the axis and left click. This hash means horizontal, and there is C here means center. So we are drawing a horizontal line on center. Come to polyline and pick it and start drawing vertical, horizontal, vertical. We draw it, and now let's close our sketch like that. Oh, oops, that's my bad. Let me draw again fastly. It was my bad. And now you can right click and close end, or just press escape. Let's go dimension sections from here. With general, you can click to line and get a dimension, or sometimes we might need some specific dimensions. For example, there's a radius, chamfer, and you need horizontal or vertical dimensions. Then choose one of them, or radius, diameter, or angle, something like that. But general common is really useful. Now, look at, we will get a warning. Alright, we got right click and cancel. Now, for example, V1. Let's define it from here as 50 millimeter. And hash 4, define it to 100 millimeter, and hash 2 define it to 70 millimeter. V3, you can see on the screen, it's yellow highlighted. So we have drawn another basic geometry. Now we can define a radius from fillet command here. Let's click this edge and go dimensions and pick radius. Let me zoom in a little bit. Now again rotating with mid roller or well. You can make moving things with hold pressing Ctrl and button clicking mid roller, or we can say well and dragging mouse. For zooming and out, hold press and shift button and hold clicking well and drag up and down. Okay, click radius. Look, it appears here. Let's change it from 2.5 to 10 millimeter. Okay, less enough for drawing. Let's go modeling section. And now the very beginning of this video, I told you we can work with 3D or 2D. We did not choose 2D, but forget it now and just assume we are working in 2D. Yes, we closed the contour, but that's not enough for now. We need to transfer it as a surface to Workbench. How can we do that? Click Sketch and then go create, concept, and click Surfaces from Sketches. As you can see, it appears here, and it wants us to choose the sketch. Let's click a line of a sketch and click Apply. We can choose also from here, Operation. There are two options. I'll show you later. Now let's generate our surface. And okay, let's delay our surface and transform our sketch to 3D. There's an extrude command here. Again, we will define our sketch and apply. And extrude it 20 millimeter and let's generate it. So we will get used to it by time, and I will show you symmetry later and some options, but I want to show you these options with examples. For example, share topology, which is really important. What will it ensure us? Actually, let's assume we will apply a force on this surface. We can apply this load as point load, distribute load, or edge load. For example, I will apply a force with a distance 10 millimeter from edge. For these specific points, we need to use a split face commands for this surface. We are dividing this surface to two surfaces. It will be one surfaces but divided. So it will act two surfaces and we need to control our mesh quality. I mean the nodes needs to be linear on this surface so it won't interrupt on the connection point. That's why we need to learn some options with examples to get it more efficient. Now I will show you how to use help section. I've got something in my mind. Let me show you before I forget it. And I will create a surface again. Let's define our sketch and apply. Now there are two options in operation and I don't know what that means. And I searched on Google and still could not find anything. So let's go help section from here. It will direct us to a web page. And okay, now let's type add frozen in search area and press enter. Our laptop is working very slow right now. So in this page you can see the articles that includes add frozen. Same material types we are looking for it. Let's click on it. So there are some descriptions. There will be some descriptions here and that are the most reliable sources. Okay, there are some descriptions here. And what we got here, one of them is add material and the other one is add frozen. Create materials and merge it with active bodies in the model. These options is always available. Active bodies mean it will be two parts like body and another body, not like an assembly. So you can choose the bodies separately. And add frozen creates materials, but adds it to the model as frozen bodies without merging them with other bodies in the model. This allows you, for example, to import a model as a set frozen bodies without need to manually apply the freeze feature afterwards. These options also always available. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is we can use the source easily. And now let's generate it. So that's it for DesignModeler. We will work on DesignModeler with examples. But for now, just let's close it. And now create a new static structural template. And as you see, there's a green tick on geometry anymore. So what we will do now, we will import a geometry. We created a geometry with another CAD software, and I want to open it in Workbench. So we need to know file types. For example, if we use SolidWorks, then we need to save it as Parasolid file. And when you import this Parasolid file, and if you try to double click the model to go mechanical, you will get an error. First, we need to geometry section and generate our geometry in DesignModeler or SpaceClaim. For example, a file with step format or CATIA's file or 3ds Max files. For these files, we can go directly model section. In general, I will give you a step or Parasolid files. For basic examples, we will draw geometries with DesignModeler or SpaceClaim to learn how to use them. If you don't want to spend your time with drawing, I will give you the geometry files. Let's right click on geometry and go import geometry and select browse. And I created a geometry to import. It's xt files, that means Parasolid file. And just select it, and now we have got green tick on geometry. And if I try to go model, actually let me show you. Okay, as you can see, we've got the warning, it's an license manager error. So we might get this error because of we are using student version. But I know that if we don't use student version, we'll get the same error anyway. And we will use student version in this tutorial. So we need to go first DesignModeler to open it. And let's delete this one. Look at, we've got 5 messages here. Now let's create a new template and right click on geometry and import geometry. Alright, and right click on geometry and select edit geometry in DesignModeler. Alright guys, I am using the student version. Since we use the student version, there will be some restraints. For example, we will be restrained with 32,000 nodes for mesh quantity. So we can't machine so fine, but I'll show you how to machine with details. But in this student version, we cannot exceed 30 32,000 nodes for mesh. If you want to work with big bodies and want to mesh it and go solutions, you need to get a license. But don't worry about it, 32,000 nodes will be quite enough for us. Now DesignModeler is opened, and from here let's generate our import. Here is our geometry. You can see the operations here. Let's change it and generate again. So here there are uh, from here there are other options. For example, line bodies that let's say we created a geometry with lines and we'll define the lines some beam sections, so we need to change line bodies from no to yes. And okay, I think important is like that. So it took a long time for geometry section. I wanted to show you one by one without so many details. So I think that's enough to go mechanical section for now. I hope so far so good. That's it for today. Stay tuned.